Hi, my best students. I am Mr. Munji, the science teacher from Al Faisal International Academy School. Today we're going to speak about investigation and friction, lesson 9. So let's start first by our objective, explain the friction is a force that opposes the movement of the one surface over another. Number 2, give example of situation in which friction produces heat. Number 3, investigate the strength of the frictional force between different surfaces. After that, we'll go directly to define what's the meaning of friction first. The friction actually is the force produced when the surface tries to slide over another. Like rubbing our hand, it will produce friction. The characteristic of friction here. We can feel friction when you push a heavy box across a carpet. Number 2, friction always opposes motion. Number 3, the friction between raw surface more than between smooth surfaces. And then after that, the effect of the friction. We know that the friction, like this example here that you used before many years, that are using to produce heat and producing fire. So we know that the friction, it produces heat. For the next picture here, look for this girls here is playing to slide, so the friction produce noise during any kind of operation. Let's go for the using of friction. First, we're going to speak about our objectives, list some advantage and some disadvantage of friction. Number 2, explain why car driver must allow longer to brake when the road is wet. The road is wet. Next one, the friction can be useful or wasteful. The advantage of friction first can be useful. For example, for the bicycle here would not work without friction. Without the friction, the bicycle here will not work between the tire and the road. So between the tire here and the road there are friction. So without this friction, the bicycle it will not work. The disadvantage of friction here. We know that the friction opposes the motion, so it will reduce the speed and reduce the motion. Number 2, the friction produces heat and noise. Also makes engine to consume more fuel. And number 4, the friction reduces the efficiency of the engine, also that causes wear and tear. How we can reduce friction? We can reduce the friction by using lubricant. What's the meaning of lubricant? Lubricant, for example, some substance, for example, oil. When you're going to put oil between the tire and the road, so it will reduce the friction. Also, when you put here in this picture here, this for the game here, they're using water. When they're going using water, it will reduce the friction. That means it will maximize the speed. The lubricant, what's the meaning of lubricant first? Is a substance that used to reduce the friction, just as the oil, thin liquid film between the sliding surface. After that, how to drive the car safely in wet condition. Sometime during a heavy rain or during rain, when the rain falls, so look for the cars, what happened to our cars. Sometimes we lose the control of our car. Why? Because between the tire here and between the road there are water. So the water here, the layer of water between the tires and the road may cause the aquaplane. You know what's meaning aquaplane? Aquaplane, when it is brake hard for the brake, the car skids out of the control of the wet surface. So the driver need to increase the stopping distance. So that's why during the rain you need to drive safely. That means we need to keep the stopping distance or increase the stopping distance. Thank you so much for your attention. See you next lesson.